After interviewing her, I drove out alone to her house to talk to her children. The Bahrain farm was quite isolated on a hilly back road. The house stood on a knoll overlooking the surrounding fields. Her teenage son was a down-to-earth boy, used to the responsibilities of being the man in the family. He confirmed his mother's stories about the rustlers and added some interesting details. That's a little snippet from the Mothman Prophecies by John Keel, which is a fascinating book, and it's spurned its own industry in paranormal research into the Mothman, which one of the preeminent researchers in that field is Andy Colvin, who's going to return to my Blog Talk Radio show this coming Friday, March 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on blogtalkradio.com/the Stench of Truth. The link will be in the description box. Please join me if you're interested in Tales of the Mothman, Men in Black, Injured Cold, and all things paranormal with Andy Colvin this coming Friday, March 18th. Thank you. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I'm going to try to make this as swift as possible and get right to the fucking point, okay? First of all, a lot of talk about what's going on in Japan with the nuclear situation over there. They have a lot of nuclear plants in Japan. We should have a lot of nuclear plants here in the United States. Remember, all the nuclear technology that's out there, practically all of it, except the newest plants being built in like China, the only place that's really building new modern nuclear power plants. All of this technology is decades old. The Fukushima plant is 40 fucking years old. Technology has advanced to a great degree. So, my final word on the whole nuclear situation as it's being portrayed and as the media is pushing it, on the one hand, is to demonize it and say, look, you can't have nuclear power because it's so incredibly dangerous. New nuclear power plants are so much safer, so much better, so much more efficient than the older 40-year-old fucking technology. That said, yes, there is genuine concern and problems over there because you're dealing with 40-year-old fucking technology. So there may be some problems associated with the Fukushima plant and other nuclear power plants in Japan. But, mark my words, put this down, this is my prediction, this is being blown out of proportion. This is being touted as some sort of doomsday scenario. Nuclear meltdown, China syndrome, Japan blows up, world dies. All on purpose to demonize not only the nuclear industry, but also to turn people's eyes away from other things that are going on in the world. It's being hyped up to tremendous proportions. That's my prediction. I'm sticking to it. Being blown up way out of proportion. Yes, it is a problem. Yes, it is a danger. Yes, it could turn into something, but I predict that whatever does eventually happen is going to be very minor in comparison to what is being predicted right now. On to other issues. Libya. It seems like the entire world has gotten ready for a post-Qaddafi world with talk of no-fly zones and foreign intervention and all of this talk in Europe and everywhere about what should be done, who should we talk to, what kind of government's going to come. Well, it looks like all of the rebels and the revolts are being put down by Qaddafi, who is refusing to be pushed out of power. So, I have to ask all of these idiots and retards who have been looking at this situation in a post-Qaddafi fashion, what are you going to do when he's back in power? If he wasn't a whacked-out nutjob before, do you think he might be now? Looks like in Saudi Arabia, they found an adequate solution. Guess what it was? Pay the fucking people off. Yes, billions and billions of dollars from the Saudi royals given to the people in the form of concessions, basically a direct payoff of the people. And you know what? It worked! But not in Bahrain, which continues to struggle under massive demonstrations. So the end result is not going to be clear there just yet. The same goes for Libya, but it's continuing to look as though Qaddafi is going to remain in power there. What's the lesson to be learned in all of the bullshit that's going on over there? Paying off the fucking people works. So, if you do not want fucking riots on your hands, maybe you should do something about taking care of the fucking people that you fucking rule. How's that sound? And if it boils down to fucking paying them off by increasing social programs and helping people, then so fucking be it. Isn't that the very nature of what they want anyway? Thank you. Good night.